Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and the foremost Kamen Rider Decade apologist. Do not panic. This is just a random review.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel, and today's review is just for me because I have been waiting a long time for these to be a reality. So this was a Kickstarter idea from, I believe the company's name is Ideas from Mars, and they produced a few different things over the years, but this caught my attention so hard. So this is Armies of Ashmore. A lot of dinosaur-based action figures done up as extremely powerful-looking warriors. And this is Cuzzo. And if you had to guess why I'm reviewing Cuzzo out of the entire line, Ankylo. If you know me well enough, you know my favorite dinosaur, and it's an ankylosaurus. And yeah, I have been waiting for this. This was on Kickstarter. I waited very patiently, and it just arrived this week, and I have to talk about it now, because that's just how this goes. First off, if you're not really getting the scale here, I'm going to bring in a standard Marvel legend for you. There's Deadpool. So yeah, he's big. He is quite big. This is like an 8-inch figure, and then like almost an entire Deadpool wide. It's absolutely huge. It's a super heavy piece of plastic, and yeah, I kind of love that. So, you can see a lot is going in here. There's a ton of sculpted detail and paint to the point where I'm not even sure where to begin. It's rare these days that I do just a standard action figure, which leaves me in a little bit of a quandary of where to start. So I guess we start at the head where, yeah, you can see that gunmetal plastic that's really making that look like actual armor. It's done a really good job, and you can see the eye piercing through the eyelet there. Now, a lot of this stuff you can work with. So, for instance, I can raise up the visor of the helmet if I want to get a better look at his eyes, or take off the helmet completely, which does reveal a lot of the subtle paint job. There's a wash on this figure to bring out all of those subtle marks and lines. You can see the bags under his eyes. He is a warrior who does not get a whole lot of sleep. And then you see the subtle paint applications, like all those little horns and spikes across his head and neck. Yeah, nothing was really missed there. So, my preferred, give me 1 minute here. My preferred method is to go ahead and pop this off of the little friction hinge that it is on, and then we will replace the helmet, which is just a little pegging on top. It's very inconspicuous, so it's very well hidden. That's my preferred look for the helmet. I like bringing in that scaled armor look to replicate the ankylosaurus's heavy shell. It's a really cool look. I freaking love this. The gunmetal on the armor is done up really nicely. The spikes painted, a little bit of white to make the diamonds on the center pop out. We'll say this is all very soft plastic, and the shoulder guards the same. So this is going to let you have a lot of freedom of movement. All of this is going to get out of the way as you are articulating the figure. So if anything, it might even be like a little too soft. So it's like, so be careful like where you pose it, because it might stick in those positions. I would keep it like at a neutral pose if you're going to put it on a shelf for a while. But yeah, take a look. Like that diamond pattern continuing, all of that. Look at the rock hard pecs underneath there. Look at them. I demand you look at them. Also, belly creases. Like, they didn't miss anything. Like, this looks like someone who's been just at war for a long time, but still has this incredible body to them. Yeah, just all across. I got a little bit of paint scuff there. Nothing too bad. Nothing bothers me too much. There's the hand. Even the nails have been painted correctly. Makes those stand out. The belt piece is spiked all the way around. It continues that ankylosaurus flare. This is also very soft plastic, both the fur as well as the belt itself, so that gets out of the way when you try to pose him. I like the shading attempt on the thighs. It brings out a lot, makes him look three-dimensional even more so, I guess. Give them like almost like a cartoon or comic book aspect. Individual nails. Look at the detail on the nails. Like, even that got a brown wash to make them look a lot more natural and weathered. Yeah, just incredible job all the way around on the sculpt and the paint on this guy. Absolutely brilliant looking. Absolutely brilliant looking. So, if I show you what he can do, the articulation on him is also really impressive. You got a ball joint at the torso itself, and then you have another up here that can move left and right, so plenty of room for articulation there. You can see it hinges up like so. So you have a lot of range of motion. Great, great to see. Universal shoulders, very tight, by the way. These are like fully painted out of the factory, so you are going to see some paint flaking the first time you actually move the joints. Doesn't really bother me too much, but it's worth pointing out. Bicep rotation as well. Very heavy elbows. Those also rotation just above them. The wrists are pegged in, meaning you do get a wrist swivel there. We go into the torso. It's... Oh, hang on. Lost the backpack. We'll get back to that. So, and the torso rotates all the way. Lots of motion there. The belly is a separate piece, so that does have a little bit more, but it is quite stiff. So, yeah, your mileage may vary on that one, but you do have 2 points of articulation in the midsection. Universal thighs as well. They're very big ball joints. So, yeah, lots of range of motion there. You do have the rotation as well. Thigh swivel. You have the knee bend, which again is a very tight joint. These toys are very stiff and very solid. Love to see that. Rotation at the ankle. And then you have a back and forward as well. And then the tilt. So lots of articulation there in the lower leg. Yeah. It's not hard to just pose this guy and get something that just has this really strong look to it. You know, he just screams power, and I love that. It'll just look absolutely fierce no matter what you do. Now, the different figures will have different tails, so your mileage may vary on those, but it's ball jointed at the actual butt, I guess. It's ball jointed at the top, it's ball jointed in the middle, and I can actually turn this around if I need to. I guess as well as the shell came off, I can go ahead and show you the back piece as well, which is actually 2 clips. And there are things you can put there. I mean, aside from the shell that was there before, he does have other weapons, and you can mount them to his back, should you choose. But, of course, we can also put them in the hand. The hand is pretty stiff. It's one of those where you're going to have to start flexing plastic in order to get these into the hand, which is doable. So don't worry about it. Yeah, so then just pop that back in. You don't have to unpop the fist, but it does help a little bit, especially when you have to try to keep it on camera. Though it's not going to be likely you have to do that. So yeah, just to give him a little bit of weaponry, appropriate club for an ankylosaurus. Also, I can pop this off and swap it for his tailpiece and give him something more of a mace. That is a little bit of loose connection, but for a pose, it actually does work, and the club will stick to the end of the tail too, so if you want that big block there, you can do that. It's a nice little optional piece I wasn't aware this one could do. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. So, we're not even done yet. We're not even close to done yet. So, let's see what else. So, I did mention that the shell fell off. That's because it's clipped in by those 2 handles, and this comes apart. So you can make a 2-piece shield out of this by rotating those down. These, by the way, also come off. That way you can just use this to peg into the hand. You don't have to try to hold the whole shield on or try to get the whole thing to work all at once. You can have him just hold the entire shield, or just have him wielded as two half shields where they look more like weapons. And I'll probably show you that at the end, but I also want to show you that he also comes with a selection of hands. So, for instance, I can swap in this one if I want to give him more of a open hand, if I want to have him a little bit more fearsome for a pose. And then go ahead and remove that and give him a full closed fist as well. Because you know what? I don't care. Even if you're an ankylosaurus with a big club for a tail, sometimes you just gotta punch a dude. Sometimes dudes just need punched, you know? Also, in my excitement, I just noticed that your other weapon, your hands, are also going to be hinged. So you got a inside hinge here on the fists. On the holding hands, you have a vertical hinge. That is actually really exciting to me, because these guys are holding melee weapons. No matter which mold you get, they come with a melee weapon. Hands that can move up and down at the wrist and hinge right there make the poses for melee weapons so much better. I am always thrilled when I get to see that. So it's actually really cool that these hands are done appropriately. The open hand also hinges this way and that, so you have the right direction that you need for poses for that hand too. Yeah, they put a lot of thought into this. Like, this works out really well. So yeah, it's just this huge, imposing figure. I have not been able to put this guy down, as it might be clear. I am excited for this. It's rare an action figure catches my eye. You know me. I usually like my robots, and I like my transforming vehicles, you know? But this hits so many notes for me. So, let me go ahead and put his holding hands back in, because I do want to show this off too. So let me put this in real quick. So as I arm him up for his final pose, I will let you know that, yeah, the Kickstarter's done, but some stores did actually manage to put these in stock. Big Bad had them for a while. Unfortunately, I believe Big Bad, as of this video, is now sold out of this line. That would be great if this could hold in place while I try to talk this up. But that said, I'm mostly pointing out just to tell you, it's not Kickstarter exclusive. So you can find these. These were released. Like, extra stock does exist. And I'm not sure if they're going to, like, do a second run of the figures that were offered on Kickstarter or Big Bad or whatever. But I do know that they would like to do more. Obviously, there's real-world things in the way that I don't want you to discuss in the comments section. But I do hope that they are able to make more of these guys. I would get these in so many colorways. You know, if I could get one in two-tone green, oh my god. But yeah, look at that. Look at that. It's not hard to just hit a pose that just looks super cool. And just, yeah, like, subtle poses for this guy, I feel like work best. Like, he just needs to look like a juggernaut that you're never going to get through. Yeah, and that's Cuzzo for you. Now, there's others that strike differently. You know, they have your warriors, your sorcerers. I'm going to show you one more that I got, and honestly, I might just be flexing a little bit here, just because. But meet Caspar. Oh, look at that. There's my two-tone green. There's my two-tone green. So I kind of do it just to kind of show off that, yeah, I did get the Kickstarter exclusive white Triceratops in this gorgeous metallic green armor. Yeah, this one you're not going to find anywhere else. I'm sorry about that. However, I bring him out just to show that different figures do have variations between them. And I do mean just outside of, like, obviously they come with different weapons. They come with different head sculpts. But also, the armor is different. The midsection is different. So while they're working the armor and the molding to mostly match everybody, everyone does get a little bit of uniqueness. Everyone does get some extra things that make them a little bit more fun to mess with. So yeah, everyone kind of stands out on their own. So there's a little bit of difference in all of them. Also, if you want a little bit more, they do provide that. I have a head pack where I can swap out which dinosaur he is. Now, obviously, he's got a club tail, so that's going to limit me just a little bit. I will admit, on the other sculpts that have a more normal dinosaur tail, it's a little bit easier. But you do have this head, which not only has this particular neck with the Stegosaurus spine, you can also swap it for a standard kind of boring plain neck with no armor on it. That way, this could just be a more generic dinosaur head. I do have a Triceratops that would work for him as well if I want those two to match a little bit better. And then if I want to really break the height meter on this guy, I have a Brontosaurus head as well. So fun. They actually let you have extra parts. Now, obviously, those are going to be sold out too. I'll also tell you they made a weapon pack if you want to expand that. So yeah, they knew people would want to play around with these. And yeah, good to see they provide. Again, if they get to make more, I hope they continue that because it is a great way of doing it. Just like swappable tail, please. I will pay the extra money to make sure they have separate tails so I don't have to have an ankylosaurus here if I don't want one. But I do want one, so oh well. And that, my friends, is going to be Cuzzo and the Armies of Ashmore. Now, because these all kind of use the same figure buck, any one of them is going to equate to this review. You're pretty much going to get what I showed you, with the exception of all the parts that have been swapped around to give everyone a unique feel. For me, though, this guy is just the king. And if I remember right, I think he was the most popular one on Kickstarter, which does make me happy. And if this line gets any extra love, I really do hope they do more colorways of it, because I will be going for them. And I may or may not have gone for a blank of this mold to potentially paint my own at some point. But that's a long way off. For now, I am thrilled with this guy. It was a long wait. It was a wait worth it. So that is Cuzzo. That is the Armies of Ashmore. For everyone who might have seen these big dinos and their big price point, I tell you, they feel really, really good. And they give you a lot to play with. So I'm very, very happy with how they turned out. So there you go. That's the review. Like I said, just from me today. I wanted to talk this. So, thank you everyone for watching. I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.